Welcome to a Monday. It is time for another edition of Litter Media Live with Mike Smith, who knows everything about Facebook. I'm Dan Ramey.
Just call me Professor Facebook. You can call me FB for sure.
Just don't call him Zuckerberg.
Yeah, please don't do that. Yeah.
There's a change to Twitter today.
Yeah.
And they announced over the weekend that the bird might be going away. And now there's an X.
Still trying to figure out the logic on it. I guess with the desktop, it's showing X. On many of the mobile apps, it's still showing the little blue bird.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So there must still be some Elon bugs to work out.
Yeah. He must have had a boring weekend. He thought, well, let's just do something different.
I'm all about branding. Let's X out the bird. So
You did say branding.
yeah.
Not Brandon. Has that died down? I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of people saying anything about that anymore.
No, I've not heard much about it for a while either.
Until I just brought it up.
Yeah. And for some, that has just become a bad memory, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
It is time to take a first look at our forecast for you today to see how things are planning for us. And I did notice on my way in town today, it looked a little dark to the west, and I saw there was a cell of rain on the way, but it didn't look like it was going to be a long storm.
Yeah, we had last night, a severe thunderstorm. It kind of came out of Indiana and over into parts of western Ohio, but it kind of went north of us in northwestern Ross County, so we skipped that. But I think the three-letter word for the week is H-O-T, hot. Sunny and warmer today with a high of 85, but that's nothing. Warmer as the week goes with highs of 88 tomorrow and in the low to mid-90s Wednesday through weekend. And on top of the actual temperatures being that warm, you can see on our scale there, it's got 97 for one day. The heat indices or the feel-like temperature might even be up around 100 or better. So if you've got a faulty air conditioner, when we get to our sponsor, might want to say, get them out there. Don't wait till the last minute.
What was that extra view of everything I was seeing there just a moment ago? Mike prepared the show today.
Well, after 1 minute, you'll see me shutting it off. So
that must be what we saw then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gabbed too long on that picture. So
I thought, what the heck is
always
that?
Let it go 60 seconds. So.
With it being hot outdoors, take care of your animals. Make sure they have plenty of water. Those of you that are participating in sports, make sure you are hydrating daily. I see Unioto has started football camp this week, and a number of other schools are involved in things this week, so it's only going to get hotter. So a lot of those workouts will probably be pushed towards the evening hours and cooler temperatures as well. So things to think about that we take for granted, and we think that we're prepared for it all. And we're not sometimes.
And they don't do it like they used to. Don't drink water and take salt tablets. That's what they actually had us doing in football when I was that age.
When our marching band performed down in Daytona Beach in the music festival, when we were there, they said, make sure you take these salt tablets before you go out and do anything. And I thought to myself, why are we putting salt into our body when we should be putting water into our body?
Yeah. Well, I guess they figure you sweat out salt. So, yeah, the whole thinking and mindset on all of that has changed so drastically.
And they came up with this thing called Gatorade, and it didn't taste very good at the beginning. And it still has a little, but it's a little easier to handle now. So
I can't drink it because every time I touch it to my tongue, I think of colonoscopy prep. And it just... amazing how memory and taste and smells.
I did find a taste that I enjoyed for colonoscopy prep, and it was like white ice, I think they called it, and it had no bland taste to it. It made the mixture taste even better, and I'm like, I could handle this.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I go to the box.
You never know what this program is going to, what pathway we're going to go down. It will get better, believe me.
He said 2 old radio guys. So.
I meant old radio guys, not two old guys.
2 old guys, yeah.
Coming up in just a bit, a look at the news topics of the day. There will be no proctology going on. We'll take a look at sports for you in just a bit.
We better move on, yeah. Quickly.
Mike and his rubber gloves. We'll be back shortly. But first, I want to tell you about Scioto Valley dumpsters. So we're starting off just right. The show's already in the dumpster. It's a dumpster fire going on here. Scioto Valley dumpsters, they don't have dumpster fires. They have these dumpsters they'll bring. You fill it up, and then they'll haul it away for you.
The only bright orange you'll see is the paint on the dumpster. Yeah. No fire.
I promise the show's going to get better. 740-253-8389 is the number to call for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Tell them that Mike Smith sent you.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
So what's making news today on our website, littermedia.com, and on our social media? We begin with Mike Smith.
We've talked a lot about county fairs over the last couple of weeks, and we continue this week. Over in MacArthur, the Vinton County Fair is off and running. As you can see, this is Ohio Early Intervention Day, and that is the schedule of activities that are taking place, again, at the Vinton County Fair today. Hope Clinic of Ross County is open this afternoon, and that is always down in the Central Center, except for the produce market, which is out at Shawnee Square. But that gets underway with the pharmacy open at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. The dental clinic opens up at 7, and I am blocked out from the produce market, Dan. What's
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Shawnee
for
Square.
that start. If you're planning on attending tonight's jazz concert with Brian Stripling over at the Lancaster Festival, there's a few tips for you to go by. Number one, Ohio Lancaster, which is the site of this concert, and many of them this week. It's a smoke-free campus, so no cigarettes, cigars, that sort of thing. No firearms or weapons should be brought on. No lanterns, balloons, floating devices of any kind. Recording devices are prohibited. Deliveries, I don't know whether this is a food delivery at the site or what, but none of that is permitted. So if you're going over to Lancaster for any of those concerts this week, just keep these tips in mind.
In other words, buy our food, not do DoorDash.
Exactly.
And have it delivered to you.
Exactly.
And I also saw that there's no glass bottles during the Lancaster Festival, and they had a demonstration ladies were doing with these bags that they're selling, and they're drink bags. I don't know if they have straws that go with them or what.
Yeah, which is ironic because Lancaster was known as a glass town for so many years. But yeah, no glass at any of these events. Chillicothe Ross Public Library's Summer Bookworm comes to a close this week. A finale party will be held this Wednesday at the Balmer Field Shelter House in Yoctangi Park starting at 6 p.m., and that is open to all ages. Goodwill Child Care, we've been following this story as it progresses, and now the next step is ready, and that is an August 3rd open house for parents and families interested in having their child attend the new Chillicothe Center. Open house will be, as we said, August 3rd from 4 to 7 p.m. at 2541 Western Avenue next to the Goodwill store there. And if you want to get more information, go to our website story at littermedia.com. And get used to this little logo. That's going to be the child care logo for Goodwill. Pike County Fair is quickly approaching. For those of you business people that are involved with the Pike Chamber of Commerce, they'll have a fair booth, and they're inviting your business to participate with brochures, business cards, promos that could be included in the chamber booth. All chamber members are welcome to swing by and drop those things off at the chamber office on State Route 104 in Waverly. And, of course, as you see, the Pike County Fair in Piketon opens July the 30th. A reminder that the Ohio State Fair, that gets underway in Columbus this Wednesday. Big activities going on there. Crosshairs Ministry Bow Shoot in Winchester, Ohio will include fellowship food, and it's free for all. Sign-up starts are at 9 a.m. on Saturday, August the 19th. Now, this is on US 62 down in Brown County in Winchester, but there are a number of church organizations in our immediate area that participate in that. So if that's something you'd like to belong to or get involved with, just give them a call there or show up, basically, at Winchester off US 62 on August the 19th.
Is this how crosshairs is spelled, or is this crosshairs?
That's the way they had it on their social media.
When I think about crosshairs, it would be the heir to the cross.
And I think that's probably the play on word or
that's what I was thinking.
Catchphrase there. Yeah. A couple of golf tournaments we want to tell you about that deal with chambers of commerce. The 14th annual Pickaway County Chamber of Commerce night golf outing. That'll be on August the 4th at the Pickaway County Country Club. And then also the Pike County Community Action is sponsoring an August 12th event. That's at the Dogwood Hills Golf Course. Funds from that particular event will go to the Pike CAC Helping Hands Work Camp. So if you're into golf, a couple of opportunities in August in Pickaway and also in Pike County. Project School Tools will be helping school children with free food, back-to-school resources, and haircuts on Tuesday, August the 15th. That'll be 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Mount Logan Learning Center. There's a QR code where you can just hold your phone up over that and get more information. As you can see, free backpack stuff with supplies by grade, depending on what grade you're in. Probably a lot of pencils, notepads, and that sort of thing will be involved. Road report. Here's what's happening in Ross County. Work is set to begin today for a bridge replacement on State Route 327 between Londonderry and Blue Lick Road. Now, 327 will be closed for the next 2 months for this construction. During the closure, traffic will be detoured via State Route 671 and U.S. Route 50. Again, that is for the next 60 days on 327 in Ross County. And that is a look at your topics for today, and a lot to tell you about in sports coming up here in just a bit.
So that's just ahead, but first we want to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you're not prepared for this heat we're going to have this week, you might give them a call. No, don't might. Do give them a call. Or click on this ad anywhere you see it on littermedia.com. It takes you right to their website so that if you're down south, you'll be able to get the number close to you. If you're out west, you'll be able to get the number close to your area, so on and so forth. It's a wide region that they cover. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Sports next.
You asked, we delivered. New Mike's Hard Lemonade, Zero Sugar. Zero sugar. Amazing taste. Years in the making. Now that's a drink worthy of the name Mike.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
At Rathkamp Financial, we believe in building client relationships for the long term, guiding you through the stages of wealth with a plan and bringing you closer to reaching your financial dreams. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions.
It is time for sports.
Instead of baseball to start with, we're going to start out with a memorial tribute, a plaque and bench to honor the contributions to rally racing in Southern Ohio by the late Richard Dick Paddock. Now sits along the Chillicothe bike path next to what's called the Yump. Dan can explain that more in a moment. This bench was purchased by the Southern Ohio Forest Rally to honor Dick, who was essential to the start and growth of rally racing in Southern Ohio. He was a driver as well as the organizer of the Sunrise 400 for many years here in the area. We're not certain that this might not have been dedicated during the rally this year, but it was just this weekend that their social media put this post out with pictures of that nice plaque and a bench that goes right beside it.
You see the Yump in the background there. This is that portion where you're driving through this access road that goes behind Chillicothe High School and the water treatment plant, and the racers will come up through there. They hit where that road is that leads you down into the annex. They go airborne, and that's where all the oohs and ahs and whistles all happen. Now, if you remember back during the days of the Sunriser, back in the 1980s, they had a similar Yump, which was through Enderlin Circle, and where the street goes down from downtown Chillicothe into Yoctangi Park, they would jump over that, and that wooed a lot of the crowd as well back in the 1980s.
I think in our story, I was asking you a question. Dick, I believe, passed away in 2015, but this was just put up, and we have a story about it at littermedia.com.
I like the line there that says, "Rally in peace."
Yeah, hopefully he is. Back to baseball. The Paints take a doubleheader, 9-4 and 5-4 over the Aviators yesterday out at VA Memorial Stadium. So the Paints moving up the ranks. Of course, they've already won the second half division title, guaranteed a playoff. What did I say?
Second half.
Second half. Well, they're moving up in the second half. They won the title in that first half. And we told you last Thursday or Friday they'd already won their 30th game overall of the season, which this is their 30th year of baseball. The Reds got a sweep of their set against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who certainly are no slouch. 7-3, the final yesterday. Now the Reds move on to Milwaukee for head-to-head competition against the Brewers, who lead the Reds by a half a game coming into tonight's action. And the Guardians, they fall to the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday, 8-5, the final there. Now the Guardians are, they took 2 out of 3, although they lost to the Phillies yesterday. But they're right up there close to the top in the American League Central race as well.
Thanks to the Chillicothe Paints sweep of the doubleheader yesterday, they now sit atop the second half standings now in the Ohio River Valley division. They have an 11-6 second half mark. Champion City is right behind them at 12-7. So they have played 2 more games than have the Chillicothe Paints.
Now, if you win the second half, you don't get a bye, do you?
That I can't.
That's the way
recall.
It should be.
You would think,
but I don't think that's the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way it is either.
Yeah. So Prospect League people,
we'll have to.
If you want some suggestions, that would be an incentive not to just lay down in the second half.
But they like to give the guys. They give the guys an opportunity to play, and they like having more people play. So, again, I've not been a big fan of the second half thing. But I know a lot of leagues do that. So, but like you brought up here a few weeks ago, we have a bitter taste in our mouth because of what happened to the Reds when they did that during the strike year. Yep. And it was like, the Reds had the best overall record, but didn't get into the postseason.
Yeah, didn't win either half.
Yeah. So. All right, this station history, the Litter Media Wayback Machine is dialed up to take us to?
Peru in 1911.
Peru?
Yeah.
So a little Peruvian action for you. We'll have that for you coming up right after these words from our fine sponsors who make it possible for us to do this program on a daily basis.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
And she's a really good kid, too. Thank you, Leah, for doing that for us and telling us more about McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. I'm loving it.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if you were going to catch the cue there or not. So, this date in history.
My wife says I never catch the cue, but I always do with you. That's scary in itself.
That is scary.
On this date in 1911, American archaeologist Hiram Bingham gets his first look at the ruins of Machu Picchu, an ancient Inca settlement in Peru that is now one of the world's top tourist destinations. Tucked away in the rocky countryside northeast of Cuzco, Machu Picchu is believed to have been a summer retreat for Inca leaders whose civilization was virtually wiped out by Spanish invaders in the 16th century. And for hundreds of years afterwards, its existence was a secret known only to the peasants living in the region. That all changed on this date in 1911 when Bingham arrived with a small team of explorers to search for the famous lost cities of the Incas.
And the Incans were going, oh, no, here we go again.
Here we go again.
Not the case, though.
No. And that's when all of the tourist stands and all that stuff probably started to develop. But that is a beautiful site. I've never been there.
I've seen photos of it. And like you say, I've not been there either. But it looks like it's a journey to get there.
I'd say. We'd be winded. When we got there, we'd be on oxygen just getting up the hill.
I'm already winded just thinking about it. So, all right, today is Monday, and anything special this week that you've got going on?
Well, we're going to have our Pickaway County special edition on Wednesday, where we believe we have at least one of the Pickaway County commissioners, Gary Shear, who was also a state representative for a number of years, is our scheduled guest. We asked all the commissioners to come down, Jay Whipple and Champ Henson. Champ says he can't make it down that day. I have not heard back from Jay. Gary's supposed to confirm today, so that's the plan for this Wednesday morning at 10.
Okay. I was on assignment this morning, which is why Mike put the show together, and I was over at Western High School to visit with Brock Brewster, and we were talking about construction that we touched on this show last week, something they're building. It's called Western Built. We'll explain that in an interview that we did with Brock coming up, hopefully on tomorrow's program. But I may still also be in Pike County tomorrow morning because part of my thought process is to stop over and check on the folks at the Pike County Fair as they prepare for the fair. So I'm going to try and bring it back a little preview for everyone like we did last year. So, okay. All right, outside of that, radio thoughts. Did you have a radio memory that you wanted to share this morning?
I was trying to stir up one while I was getting ready this morning, and I had a thought that came to mind, and it, like many other things, it zip. If I don't write it down, it's gone, man.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me, someone told me those same words at a radio station I worked at back in 1990, WTLT. I was talking about this with our Sunday school class yesterday. WTLT was the light. We played contemporary Christian music. It was Circleville's old FM 107.1, only it had been moved to Columbus. And who hired me and brought me over? Stacy McKay. Stacy was my morning co-host but she was also the boss. She was the program director. So she would stop in the middle of whatever we were doing, and she would say, "I've got to write this down or else I'll forget it."
I'll forget it, yeah.
Now, that was back when we were both in our 20s. So she's been a successful co-host on Sunday 95 now for 30-plus years.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is hard to believe that,
That's
but
a long time.
You've heard of Dino and Stacy. Stacy is she's the part of that, Dino and Stacy, but she's had a couple of other co-hosts as well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one was named Mitchell. His last name was Mitchell. Of course, I was Dan Mitchell,
yeah.
and it was Mitchell and McKay back at WTLT back in those days. And so when our band got broken up, we went on our separate ways, and she maintained the McKay part of her name.
Gotcha. I always kept my name. I thought you can't get any more common than Smith. Everybody's got to remember that.
Every Smith is related somehow. But Stacy's married name is not McKay, by the way. But this is her second marriage, as she's in now. But her first marriage was Farmer, so she was Stacy Farmer.
Stacy Farmer.
And but she also participated as a newsreader called Paige Turner. We had a guy who did sports, and his name was Jim Shorts. So a lot of puns and plays on words like that. So, yeah. Oh, the fun days of radio when you did neat stuff like that.
Wasn't a memory of yours or mine, but for the older audience that would remember a very popular radio announcer for many years on WTVN that got his start at WBEX, Dave Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Logan was not his real last name.
Right.
It was it Greasy or Griesheimer or something like that?
I can't remember.
And it's my understanding.
It wasn't Griesheimer, I know that much.
That Truman Morris said, we got to get you a new last name for the air.
Named him after Mount Logan?
And Mount Logan. So and he kept Dave Logan for all the years. I can remember Dave for many years on a Saturday morning, because I think he was the midday announcer at TVN.
Yes.
But on Saturday morning, he always did the buyer's bandwagon remotes.
Mm-hmm.
And why that tied in to me personally.
Is it Buyer Chevrolet?
It could have been. I'm not sure. A dentist by the name of Jimmy Hall, Hull, originally from Greenfield, Ohio, was an All-American basketball player at Ohio State, played on their first NCAA Final Four team in 1939. But Jimmy he taught dentistry at the School of Dentistry at Ohio State. Very well known, but he maintained a practice in Chillicothe, and he came to Chillicothe once a week for orthodontics, braces and that sort of thing. And I had always heard, my dentist always was talking up Jimmy Hall, so I had kind of like an overbite problem. So I went to Dr. Hall. He knew I liked, I think I was just getting into radio at that time. And that was so fascinating to visit with Dr. Hall every time I went in.
Was he any relation to Joyce Hall?
I don't believe so.
Joyce, a longtime Hall of Fame volleyball coach at CHS.
But if you drive into Greenfield, or at least it used to be there's a sign, other than the one that says hometown of Johnny Paycheck, there was it was either a general or an admiral hall that was famous during World War II. And I believe that was an uncle or something like that of Jimmy's.
How big?
But going back to the buyer's bandwagon, Dave Logan would always have Jimmy Hall stop by the remote every Saturday morning in the fall, and Jimmy would give his Ohio State football prediction that day, for the day. Of course.
How often was he correct?
A lot of times.
Is that right?
That's the Woody Hayes era, and they were winning anyway. So, but Jimmy didn't miss many of them.
I only met Dave once, and we did interview him later when WBEX had its 60th anniversary. I managed to track down some of the longtime announcers or people who had their start and had a chance to have them on the show. But Dave and I worked as competitors. I was doing the midday show at Sunday 95. He was doing the midday show at WTVN, which I think he did for like 33 years, something like that. And so when I was in the middle of jobs, I went in for an interview. They were talking about doing a sports hosting show at night, and they were wanting me to mull over, can you do this? And so when we were given the tour of WTVN, and this is before our iHeartMedia days, here I was standing in studio with Dave Logan, and he was the nicest guy. And he says, we went head-to-head there for a bit there in the radio ratings. I'm like, yeah, but he would win or I would win, whichever the case may be. But had nothing to do with me. It was merely the programming. Yeah. I was just the guy watching the shop when it was on the air at that time. But what's really cool now is who is that midday host now? Lisa Bryant. And Lisa is a Frankfurt girl, played basketball and volleyball at Adena, track and field, I believe, also. And she has been the midday announcer there for a number of years now. Yeah. I can't remember exactly how many, probably 10 or more.
You and I had a chance to go up and visit on her show one afternoon.
Yeah. It was really weird walking into the studio, which was the program director's office when I was working there. But when we walked in to see her, I was ready to go into the one studio. Nope, that's not where we're doing the show anymore. It's back here. And I'm like, oh, okay. But the building had changed, and Chris Forgy was there. Chris was my general manager for WTLT, going full circle here with our radio conversation. And the gospel music station was one of the greatest opportunities I think I ever had. You've heard of this guy named Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Oh, yeah.
He was just a young guy when I was working there. He had a concert in Columbus, and we were hosting the concert at the Greater Columbus Convention and Visitors Center. And I'm backstage talking with this guy, Stephen Curtis Chapman. He's got little ones, the ones who are now in their 40s. They were little guys then. And it was really cool to get a chance to see his career just take off. What is it, 40 or 50 Dove Awards he's won over the years and all. But
you mentioned Chris Forgy. He's got ties here locally, right?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he married into a family here in Chillicothe. I don't think they're married anymore. But, there were some ties here as well. And
the late Jim Caldwell, many years city council, Ross County commissioner, his son, I believe, worked with what was known as Radio Ohio for a number of years. So, a lot of local ties that go on to the bigger markets. So, it's kind of neat. This is kind of the birthplace for a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, you start out small and you take off. And, by the way, I don't know if you saw this or not, but former coworker of ours, Bruce Harrell, he divulged on Facebook yesterday that he has a battle with cancer going on.
I did not see that.
And our thoughts are with you. We always called him Uncle Brusso. Because of Cousin Brucey. There was a little tie in there. Cousin Brucey, of course, helped pave the way for rock and roll. But Bruce Harrell worked mornings, worked afternoons. He and I worked at two different radio stations over the years together. And he's since moved on to Texas and has become an established author.
Yeah. And has ties or connections every once in a while. I believe Bruce has divulged with another guy that was a radio announcer here, Dave Burchett.
Yeah.
He always went by Burchett because he said on the air people would call and say other things. But he went on and was announcer with the Texas Rangers. I think he was involved with the Mavericks. And, of course, our buddy Larry Roberts. Larry was big in radio, television. So, again, all these local ties of folks that have gone on and do big things.
And Dick Rutherford. Dick is still involved here locally. He moved away to Florida for a number of years, and within the last 10 years moved back to Chillicothe, and now he is a living relic at the Ross County Historical Society at the Heritage Center there. Dawson, I believe, is what he is, and he, along with many others, help us learn about the history of Ross County when you stop in. So he's always a joy to visit with and talk with as well.
Speaking of which, have we got anything set up yet with the new director?
No, the offer's been extended.
Yes, okay.
But have yet to hear back. So
if you're watching, call us back.
You know, when you're in the middle of, you got a new gig, you're learning all this stuff, and we need to circle back around to him.
Probably so.
And we still need to circle back around to the guy that left.
Yeah. I think Tom's just dodging us.
Last time I popped in to see Tom during his swan song, his reception they had for him to be able to wish him well. And he says, I need to get back together with Mike Smith. I said, yes, we'd like to have you on. So Tom Kuhn is who we're talking about there. All right, tomorrow another program for you here on Facebook Live. If you want to join us in some fashion, if you want to join us as a sponsorship, please feel free to contact us. You can send us a message. You see the email address right there. You can reach us via email as well. And we've got some exciting things coming to you. I think maybe next week we'll be prepared to talk about it.
Okay.
So we're getting close, but we want to make sure that we have some ducks in the row before we let the cat out of the bag, so to speak.
It's an animal show, ducks and cats.
That's right. Well, we already had somebody ducking us, right?
That's right.
So, all right, that's it for the program. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Hope you have a great week. And don't forget, you can always watch this program on demand. As soon as we're done with it live, it will be available on our videos page. And you can find us also on our YouTube channel, too. Subscribe. It is free. For the Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll see you tomorrow.